Okay, y'all. I'm back, and I was trying to finish this reading that I'm doing for Raven, and my phone rang. So I'm back. This may be a part 2. I don't know how much of part 1 got recorded, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish. And I'll go ahead and back up to the last 2 cards that I threw, which were the King of This and the Tower card for Raven. Okay, and we'll go ahead and back up, and I'll go ahead and sum up what I had so far. Raven had the 9 of Discs to start with, which meant she felt like things were looking up for her. She had already hit rock bottom in the last reading that I gave for her, and she, at this point, somebody had presented a situation. There's an influence of the woman as the Princess of Discs, and I believe she was a woman who worked in the capacity of, some sort of, social worker type thing where she went when she was in the homeless shelter. So this woman was trying to help her and presented her with some sort of opportunity or idea that then Raven took and shared with some LGBT person who was also probably homeless. I don't know if they were homeless or if they worked in the shelter. I'm feeling that they were another homeless person who was in the shelter. She was listening to them about some sort of opportunity that she can have. The opportunity was not all the way kosher. And so she went ahead and took that person's, advice. And in turn, at the beginning, she felt like, okay, things are getting better because these opportunities that are being presented to me, even though they're not all the way kosher, like once we do this thing, everything's going to be okay, and so, and then the next card that she got was the 2 of Discs, which basically, again, she felt like things were going to be good, but at some point she is, in the recesses of her mind, she knew it wasn't right, but I'm going to go ahead and follow it. And this is something that Raven has done as a pattern in her life in the past, and so she went ahead and followed it, and, because this is what the Chariot card represents in her reading, which is here. And that was some action that she needed to take, and that form of action was influenced by the LGBT person. And she took the advice, and as a result, because Raven has had this lesson many times, a part of Raven has been sacrificed as far as her spiritual journey has gone. Like a part of Raven has died. Does that mean she's completely over with? I would not say that, but she is being humbled on the highest level right now. Maybe it is her ego that's dying, but some part of her is dying, and it probably most likely needs to die. She's being transformed. She's being changed. And so the Death card represented that, and then the Chariot. Okay, and then the last 3 cards that I sent through were the 7 of Cups, which represented her making a choice, but also deceiving herself when she made this particular choice. So basically, telling herself, this will be okay. Whatever she needed to tell herself to do it was wrong. Whatever she did, it was something that she did that was wrong, and she knew it. And as a result, the next 2 cards, the King of Discs, which represents another male figure in that had something to do with it. I don't know exactly what this person had to do with it, but it's a male figure, and it feels like an older male figure, okay, that has something to do with what she was in. And I think that the Tower card, which was the last card that I sent, will explain it. I think the older male figure feels like an authority sort of figure, and at some levels, Raven probably got in trouble or something, you know what I'm saying? And this authority figure came in. And then the Tower card represents sudden change, a setback, the end of something, which also goes back to the Death card that was in her reading. It relates to it because it also represents the end of something, a transformation and the death of something. Preferably in this situation, I would pray for her that it is the death of the ego. But at the same time, when we identify with the ego as the self, it feels as if we are being destroyed. It's a very humbling experience, and this is what I feel is happening with Raven right now. The Tower card, if you look at the image on the Tower card, it is one of destruction. So that represents once again, another setback for Raven. Major. Because this time, you're not going to be able to recycle yourself again like you've always done. The lesson is not going to keep being presented to you in the same way. The universe has already decided that you obviously are not getting the lesson, that they're trying to present it to you in the way that they have. So now your lesson is going to be much harder. The last reading, there was the 10 of swords, which represented a sudden loss and a sudden ruin and all of that, and there was still an opportunity for Raven to change that. Like, it was a setback, but it was something that you could effectively change the direction of. And when and basically in this reading, it's like it's gotten worse, because the Tower is another form of a setback and another form of a things being being torn down and deconstructed. So right now, at this point, Raven has followed her ego to the point of she's standing at the edge of East Hell, and the Tower is worse than the 10 of Swords. So basically, you have continued to make the same mistakes over and over